there's definitely been seasons we've been more excited about. This is one of the ones that we are more excited about. And now that we made this kind of last day audible to kind of have a season guest, it's becoming something really cool that I wasn't expecting it to. So I'm really glad to have you here.
Well, thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Cool. So, Cam, if we're all ready to go, I don't know. Normally, it's funny because I think because you're here, we're kind of all here on time, kind of ready to rip into this. But typically, yeah, we kind of all stagger in.
Yeah, that usually doesn't happen with a podcast. It's universal.
Full disclaimer, Mayo's like a new dad. So every once in a while, the baby wakes up. He's got to go deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
We just edit around it. Some, Cam or I might have to go for something, but it's a lot less common, I'll say.
You probably just hear me scream, "Baby's crying," and then I'll probably...
Right. It's like milk on the stove, man. You got to get there.
Just play the Yoshi's Island music.
Flower Garden, because that's like one of my favorite. Or is this?
Just anytime someone's crying. But yes, yeah, it's a pleasant music too.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. Oh, we also when we introduce ourselves, just so you're not feeling left out, we basically just say our name and then we kind of do a little fun jig of like, "Hi, I'm Anthony, and I'm the fan on the ceiling." Or something.
We do like, it's almost like a mini improv thing because sometimes I don't prepare ahead of time and just have to come up with a random noun to be.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Usually whoever intros will say their name first. I usually go next, and then whoever didn't do the intro goes after. I think for this, I'll probably... Once we're through that, I will then introduce you as our special season guest, and then you can be whatever you want to be.
Does it have to pertain to the episode, or is it just...
It doesn't have to pertain to anything.
No, it can be total nonsense.
You could be a particle in a collider.
You could. We haven't done that one, too, so, I mean, that would be new, fresh. Welcome to A4NB4Y, the Zelda theme podcast that's currently going to be deep diving into a new game after we finish the Minish Cap. And if you couldn't tell by me pirate accent, we're going into the Wind Waker, one of the best games that they ever made, methinks. My name is Cameron, and I'm a sail full of the wind, and these are me co-hosts. I'm Ryan Fonzie, and I am a full moon.
And I'm Anthony, and I'm a little 5-year-old with snot coming out of his nose named Zill.
Oh, I hate that.
This season, this just in, last minute change. We got a special guest here with us that is, as of yet, unannounced. Welcome to the show, Luigi of Chat of the Wild.
Woo!
Oi, I'm Luigi, and I'm the fifth note on the wall of a character who has a bunch of tutorial crap on his wall.
There's be a wise tale in that. Life lessons for days. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, guys, we're here. Wind Waker. First episode of Wind Waker, and we have with us Luigi. You probably have heard a little bit from him in the pre-show, but Luigi, is there anything you'd like to, any way you'd like to introduce yourself to our fantastic audience here?
I'm Luigi's apartment, and I do dumb things on the internet, like talking about video games and Nintendo and Zelda, and And yeah, that's me. Hi.
Hey-o.
Some of the
Hey-o.
best things to talk about.
Yeah, right? You know, like it's a lot better than talking about other stuff.
So I think you've been in the podcast game a bit longer than we have, but I know you got a couple shows still going, right? Like Need for Speed Running, I think you're on most
Yeah,
of the
we're
time.
doing.
And then-
Yeah, I'm on Need for Speed Running. Still streaming a bit here and there, kind of getting back into that. And yeah, just around.
Nice. Cool. So guys, this is Wind Waker. I know for me this game was huge for my childhood. This was one of the first games that I actually owned as a Zelda title. If it wasn't for the fact that I got this game at the same time as Ocarina of Time, it probably would have been, my first game. But I was someone who had the chance to play Ocarina of Time at other people's houses on the N64 before I got my GameCube. So I was actually, kind of already pre-sold on that one. So I ran through that first. And so this was like my second 3D Zelda ever. And so it holds a special place in my heart. For a few years, it was my favorite game. I can't say that it's held that title, but it still gets me with the nostalgia quite a bit, pretty much throughout the whole thing. So
It's good to have that Ocarina primer before this game. Like, it's a good 1-2 punch to have your first two Zelda games.
right. I mean, and this game builds on the lore of Ocarina.
Mhm.
Like it kind of uses it as a starting point. So there's a lot of continuity there that actually really helps contextualize this game as well. So I'm really excited to talk about some of that stuff too. Anybody else want to share your history with the game or?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think this was my second Zelda game, coming right in after Majora's Mask, which is just a super hard follow-up. But yeah, no, I think this game, especially the opening cutscene, if we want to talk about the opening cutscene a little bit, I feel like the opening cutscene is like what truly defines like Zelda. Like that little snippet, that little like comic strip that they do with the music, I feel like that encompasses Zelda, like every aspect of every game. It's like this like cool little thing that they do, and it was a really cool art style. The music was on point, and the story was like every Zelda game. And seeing that as a child, and then like the epic music that comes in, like when Link beats Ganon, oh man, it was just so epic. The nostalgia hit so hard when I watched that. And then when I was actually playing that part, I had my daughter. I mean, she's like 8 months or 6 months now. I had her listen to this and like watch it, and she was actually it's just like watching right by it, and I was like, please be a Zelda fan, please be a Zelda fan.
That's crazy. I can't imagine going like doing Majora's Mask and Wind Waker without having played Ocarina of Time. Like,
So the thing was like I owned Ocarina of Time, but for some reason I got bored like around the time of the castle. Like like young me could not stay stimulated long enough to get past Hyrule Castle, whereas I had gone and completely beat Majora's Mask at this point. I didn't actually until after play Ocarina of Time. And then I fell in love with it, obviously, as you do with Ocarina of Time. But
as one does.
but originally, that's kind of what happened. And so I actually had played this full through as well, and it was just really good.
Yeah, because I had the opposite experience, so I couldn't put Ocarina down, and then it's like I can't get into Majora.
Is
Right.
that still true to this day, or is that like a?
Oh, I like Majora. I've beaten it finally, but yeah, I think like at the time it was just I was just still playing Ocarina, and so I was like I could play that, but then I could just play Ocarina again, like what my friend said, like with your toes this time, and I was like, yeah,
Yo,
Playing with your toes. Cam, how about you?
I played it. No, I'm just kidding.
Cool
So
story.
I don't remember if this was my second or third 3D Zelda. I know I definitely played this after Ocarina of Time, but I don't actually remember like when the first time I played Majora's Mask even was. But I remember this game being a lot of fun, not only because I've just always really liked cel shade graphics. Like I've liked good cartoon graphics like a lot more than I've liked that hyper realistic stuff that we get all the time anymore. And I kind of still do, if I'm being honest. So I loved the look of the game. The music was phenomenal, and just like the size, scale, and grandeur of the experience of playing this. Like before, Zelda games were always like in a relatively small area. Like you have spots you can go out to, and it's like not a small game, but like thinking about Ocarina of Time, I can think of every single place in that game relatively easily and know the entire map. When it comes to Wind Waker and that massive map, you're going between these islands, the scale just felt off the chains compared to any other Zelda experience that I've ever had. And I remember talking with my friends, Anthony and Fonz here at school about it. And I don't know, it's just a fun experience. I have a fond memory of almost any game I used to play back in like high school where I could talk to my friends about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still have like a hand-drawn C chart somewhere in this room from when I was in high school. Like just drew it all out for some reason. It might have actually been middle school, but I know it, like I distinctly remember showing it to one of our friends, Marty, in orchestra practice. Just like I drew this whole thing out.
This game should be called Nostalgia Waker.
That wouldn't have made sense at launch.
It's striking. Yeah, at launch it wouldn't have, but like it's funny how unique and it looks, and it just sticks with you somehow. I pre-ordered this because my friend and I wanted the Master Quest disc. And so we were able to get the Master Quest disc a month early before Wind Waker actually came out, and then played the crap out of that, and then got Wind Waker. And like there was like one day a week that everybody, like my parents, both my little brothers were like at different preschools, and my parents were gone. There was like every Thursday. I was sick every Thursday for like a month and a half because I just stayed home to play this game. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's super good. I think you said, I guess, like what encompasses this game best. I think the last episode in our between episode, Vons, it's just whimsical. The whole experience is whimsical.
It is. Yeah, I mean, it kind of matches the cartoon vibe and everything. It's just, one of the developers' notes that I remember is like an interview. Somebody mentioned this. It might have even been in like the Creating a Champion book or something like that, where they kind of talked about how when they were deciding what art style to use for Breath of the Wild, they're trying to figure out the phrasing they used was a little interesting because they're like, we're trying to figure out the best way to present the lies that we use to tell the story of the game. So like, how do you kind of mask like these, it's a video game. So you have video game physics, you have things working that really shouldn't work. But they're like, how do we like make it convincing through the art style? And they turned back to Wind Waker and said, like this right here is how we do that. Like we don't get overly into the detail. We make everything just cartoony enough to kind of sell what's happening. And so like that whole mindset kind of carried into the modern games too, which I think it's effective. I think it makes games last longer. Honestly,
yeah, definitely carried into the art style.
So yeah, I mean, how about I know Anthony, you kind of already brought it up, but that intro reel to this game tells a little brief history of the Ocarina of Time, but with a twist. Probably the first time we saw the twist, and I think that's honestly kind of where the timeline split came from. Was kind of pointing this whole detail out in order to make this game, but.
I mean, I think even at the time we read into like don't you even like see him leaving on a horse or something?
Yeah,
and we're just like, oh, so Majora's Mask Link just never came back. Okay. Cool. Moving on, you know. Like it just made perfect sense for some reason.
Yeah, I love the like the papyrus artwork that we get to see, like Hylian script and all of these images. It's like a little graphic novel of a history lesson. And it kind of goes through, you know, Hyrule just existing in the first place. You see like a little Triforce like right in the middle of a bunch of villagers, so it's kind of showing that Hyrule's kind of always been somewhat, you know, sustained by this power. And then it kind of goes into the story of a great evil rising and a hero kind of coming to meet it. And after one victory, leaving Hyrule, and then when the evil returned, the hero didn't. It kind of became a new kind of problem. So that you see the people kind of praying to the gods for help. And without a whole lot of explanation of what that help looked like, the legend is kind of, as far as I remember, it kind of lost to time, right? And now there's like a custom on this island.
People don't really know what happened. They don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah. And so it kind of breaks away from there to talk about how this legend has been passed down. And on this particular island, it became customary to garb their boys in green when they became the age of the hero. And then we get a kind of a fade out and we meet Errol, who is kind of the first major plot character in our game here. Yeah.
We see her birds first. It kind of like flies in across Outset Island.
Yeah. I guess that is a cool thing to mention, is like Errol is kind of always associated with seagulls. I guess she gets along with them really well. I don't know if she's just feeding them pears all the time or what. But
rats with wings.
Okay.
Whatever. They like pears. I like them.
They're pretty great. So she goes searching the island, looking for us. Wonderful little sound bark everywhere she goes. Gotta love it. If you're playing, okay, so just to throw this out there, I'm playing New Game Plus right now.
Okay.
Mainly because I want to see, like, there are certain parts in the game where characters will talk to Link and others in Hylian script.
Which if is probably what was written on that papyrus thing.
Yeah. So they're speaking an ancient language is kind of the gist of it. And Link can't understand it unless you're in New Game Plus, and then you get to hear the whole conversation, which is why I chose to do that. Couple of other little quirks that happen when you play New Game Plus, and one of them we'll get to later in the episode, but one of them I feel like I need to mention right here. Typically when you start this game, Errol is wearing like a blue dress that's got like flowers on it. When you play New Game Plus, she's wearing an outfit that she doesn't get until much later in a normal playthrough.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so Errol in my game is wearing this purple dress with a skull on it. It's pretty punk.
She means business.
And I didn't realize that was a thing until I was really paying attention. I was like, wait a minute, like you're not supposed to, like, what is this? But it was funny to see the intro like that too. So
you're about to outset people from this mortal coil.
Yo. It's the most innocent character in the game.
I know.
I mean, but that's like the most dangerous person in the pit. You know it's true.
You have a point. So she searches the island and she finds us up at her own lookout, Errol's lookout. It's big.
We're sleeping, of course.
Right. Link's got to be starting the game sleeping. I think ever since A Link to the Past, right? Every game he's just been kind of sleeping in the beginning.
Yeah. Although this time he's like outside in the elements. Like thank God she found us, because it's been like
there's like a
The
little
wind and the sun just like die of exposure out here.
there's a roof on the lookout, you know.
You could have rolled onto that railing, fell into the water.
Oh no.
Yeah, that would have been tragic.
And another hero wouldn't have appeared for another 1,000 years.
Right, we would have been screwed.
Yeah. So so Arrow finds us and decides to wake us up and remind us what day it is because we are too sleepy to even remember. It's our birthday, and not just any birthday. It's the birthday where we get garbed in green. She doesn't outright say that, but that's, from the
Well, it's St.
Queen's
Patrick's Day,
intro.
so
Right. Yeah, we are recording this on St. Patrick's Day. BT dubs. Probably not going to release for 2 weeks, but hey, happy St. Patrick's Day belated to all of you.
I hopped on and streamed this morning, and we came up with the canon that this all takes place on St. Patrick's Day. Link is an Irish American who is forced to wear green, and then the pirates are actual Irish people who just make fun of the Irish American for celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So that's what I'm going with.
That's it. That's some world building right there.
Canon.
I thought it was interesting that there are adult men on this island who do not wear green. So this must be something that just is like, we do this for your birthday, and after that, wear whatever you want. So,
I mean, everyone talks about how uncomfortable it looks. Like, this is not proper island wear.
This is like the bunny pajamas from A Christmas Story. Like, I think it's kind of made to wear them, but
yeah,
the green nightmare.
Yeah. So, but speaking of which, we haven't even talked about how you get that yet. So, Errol tells us to go see Grandma. She's looking for us. So we find, you go across town. We can meet a bunch of NPCs. We can just kind of rattle some off here. First person you'll probably see is Mesa. He's cutting grass, and that's all he cares about in life. Most of the
money.
Yeah.
You can make money in here.
You wouldn't believe what people drop in the grass, man.
In your lawn? Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I from certain events in the beginning of this game, I talked to a lot of these NPCs multiple times, and most of them just kind of care about what they're into at the beginning. They don't really break away for any events, which is really interesting to me. But they'll have just random little phrases tacked on, like, "Is everything okay?" when things are definitely not okay. But we'll get to that too. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we'll see Mesa. You'll see Mayo's favorite Zill.
Yeah, I did my customary bully at the beginning of the game that I do every time I see Zill.
What do you do to bully Zill?
I just run circles around him, like, you can't catch me. And
okay.
he bumps into you, and
yeah,
you just let him bump into you, and then you can throw a rock at him, but he doesn't do anything.
I was bumping into him, and I was trying to get it to line up with the music.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Nice. I read today on his wiki page that apparently he lets his nose run on purpose.
What?
Which only makes his character, it makes more sense, but it's also way worse than him just kind of being,
It's like a social disruption. It's like, we'll get past all the pleasantries and just have a straight conversation if there is a 2-foot long snot bubble hanging from my nose.
I'm just gonna put all the cards on the table. First thing you need to know about me, snot nose.
All right, I'm not here to mess around.
I watched a YouTube short where Zill's nose will continue to run, even in the water. If you're just running around the water, and you just think about it, you're this 6-year-old kid that's got this giant snot thing. You just run around in the water. You know how strong that snot's got to be? That's anime level portion of snot.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. There's something wrong with your kid, man. You might need to sail to a different island to find a doctor.
He's just got a really bad nose.
Extract that thing.
I think he's got a parasite.
You know, like those videos when they like dump hot aluminum down an anthill. Like,
Oh God.
Yes.
that's not in this boy's sinuses right now. He's just got like a structure in there hanging on.
His snot could destroy Ganondorf. Link just needed to bottle it.
We need to move on from Zill.
That's what you cover the sword in.
Oh man.
It'll really shine then.
Stick it to
The
the end
waxing.
and make a mace out of it. Or a flail, I mean. Disgusting. All right. So Zill has a brother, Joel, who wants to grow up big and jump across the rocks like Link and be brave.
Yeah, he hasn't got much else to say. Like,
no.
Zill says a lot. This kid
Zill
just
says whatever comes to his mind. Joel's just cares about rock jumping. It's his dream. His parents ought to keep a better eye on him. Swimming's not like an easy thing in this game. And he goes for that jump too early. It's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of his parents, Abe is probably the next NPC you'll find. He's trying to hunt a pig. Not necessarily trying to hunt it. He's trying to catch it. His wife has been talking about getting a pet for the boys.
Literally just Abe Lincoln in this game.
Abe Lincoln.
Without the top hat, but that's him for sure.
This is how you crawl, son. He was teaching me like how to sneak up on a pig, but like it came across as like really inappropriate dating advice. Like you just got to be like quiet and sneak up, and then bam! Like I don't think that's how it works at all, man.
They startle too easy. Like I definitely did just run up to the pig and grab. I don't know what Abe's talking about, but you know.
And then he makes a comment like, you know, my wife would be real interested if she had a pet one of these.
Yeah. Like Zill said the same thing to me too. Like, hey, I hear your grandma's looking for you. My mom is too.
Yeah. And then if you go and deliver the pig, well, actually, if you don't do it for her, you go talk to Rose. She's like, I'm thinking about getting the boys a pet. She's already built the enclosure. Like,
she's like, well, happy birthday. We're celebrating. It's your birthday. Also, we're celebrating because we built a pen.
Right? It's like, happy birthday. By the way, I'm thinking about my kids right now and them getting the pet. And I'm like, there's like 8 people on this island and you couldn't like talk to me about my birthday for more than half a sentence. Like, what are we doing here? Nobody cares it's Link's birthday except for Errol and Grandma. They're all kind of true to their character.
She offers to pay you for a pig, but then she's also like, I promise, like, we don't have to tell your grandma.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me. I tell my grandma everything. Why are we being shady here? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I thought this was legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just the pig market here, okay?
Do I have to report these rupees on my taxes?
Yeah.
Every pig we bring
That's what your lawn is for.
Yeah.
Is worth 20 rupees.
What kind of operation you running here, lady?
I don't know. These pigs are free if you can catch them, but Abe's kind of useless in that regard, so I don't know.
At least he's honest.
Well, that's actually probably a purposeful distinction. From what I understand, from doing a little bit of reading today, Rose is apparently, according to her statue, which is like a whole mechanic later in the game, there's like a figurine collecting thing that has to do with taking pictures of people.
That's right.
According to her figurine, she hides her lies with laughter, or like gets out of lies with laughter. So apparently she's like supposed to be a foil to Abe in that respect of like,
oh no.
I think Abe is literally supposed to be a Lincoln reference, and Rose is like the opposite.
Protect my boy Abe.
Oh, the pigs just straight up flew away.
When we come back to Outset, hold on to that thought.
Oh no.
We're gonna find some funny things have happened with this whole pig situation.
So I want to take a detour really quick before we continue on.
Go for it.
Because looking at her profile now, and this didn't occur to me in the game originally, but I'm sorry, Luigi, you're probably not going to have any clue what I'm talking about, but there was an arcade in our town where we grew up called Skateland. And this arcade had a certain game where you would throw little balls into a lady's mouth, and she would go, feed me, and then laugh. I don't remember what the game was called.
It was
this
called
lady,
Big Bertha.
Big
Bertha.
Yes.
And this lady looks like a spitting image of Big Bertha.
Oh my god! I forgot about that. Thing was at a couple different Chuck E. Cheese's.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh man, yeah, I forgot about that thing.
Oh my gosh,
she does. She's giving me vibes from the Twilight Princess couple in the starting town. The one that runs the shop is just kind of like all about herself, and then the guy who's just her husband, who's just kind of like, I don't know, I don't really do anything.
Yeah, we haven't covered Twilight Princess yet, but I would not be surprised.
Just imagine them, but they'd look more hideous.
Right. I mean, that's the Twilight Princess motif.
That's pretty much.
Yeah. Before we go, there's one other house that we can visit. It's the home of Orca and Sturgeon. Sturgeon does the classic stand up on a awning or patio to tell you how to Z target, which was the move that little Kokiri girl did in Ocarina of Time to teach us the same thing.
He ain't no sorry though.
No.
He's Mega Mind actually.
He's big brain.
So he's messing me up with my pigs. I picked up the pig that Abe was showing me how to catch, and then ran past him, and he was like, "Hey, talk to me with the L button," and I dropped my pig, and I was like, "Dude,
yeah,
that's rude."
That he did that to me too. He does not care about your pig mission at all.
That was a smooth brain move.
Stab pigtaged.
These two characters, I mean, they're brothers, right? It's like brain and brawn, literally. Sturgeon being the brain for obvious, visual reasons.
Are they smart fish?
Sturgeon, they're like prehistoric fit. They've been around forever, if I remember right.
Okay.
I don't know if they're particularly smart, but I think that there are like freshwater sturgeon in the Great Lakes that have, they're endangered now, but they're like kind of like crocodiles. They've just been around forever. So I don't know if that means they're smart. My point about these guys is that they're the only two that seem to follow the lore of this island. Because not only are boys garbed in green, but they're also said to like travel the seas looking for blades. Like they basically go on adventures at some point.
It's like part of the lore that like, well, we don't really do that anymore. Like, here's the clothes. Just put the clothes on for today. You don't have to go find a sword.
Right. But these two guys apparently did. And I don't know that you get that information about Sturgeon until later. But they talk about each other as brothers. So Sturgeon talks about how Orca's just constantly training his body, but should probably also train his mind. And, if you go up into his loft there, he's got his life lessons on the wall, which is really just a tutorial in disguise. It's quite funny to actually read through just because
they're hilarious.
It'll have a big I don't know what the word for it. The introduction seems so thoughtful and like taking on new perspectives in life, and then the introduction will be like, use the C button to look around. It's
a weird framing. I never go talk to this guy because he's the tutorial house, he's right, like, we're the three know-it-all brothers from Ocarina. Like, why would I talk to you? And I went and read all of them, and they're hilarious because like they're weird. Like it's insane unless you have main character syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good gag if nothing else.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Like the one about talking to people is like not real world advice at all. It's like, if you don't understand what people said, just keep talking to them. Like, talk to them until you understand what they said to you. And like,
I'll be
no,
more
don't
than
ever
happy
do
to
that.
repeat what they said. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great RPG advice, Like,
Yeah.
if you need to figure out what you're doing, talk to everybody. All right.
I mean, if that's your friend, then yes, you want to like understand what your friend is telling you, but like, don't just go up to strangers and like poke them over and over.
I finally made it to Chicago. I wonder who's down this back alley. I should poke him.
You, server, having a cigarette on break. Tell me, what is this area?
Right. So Orca, his brother downstairs, is the opposite, right? Like, he's all about combat. He doesn't care about the social aspects of the game. He's just like, here's how you fight stuff. You can do training with him now. I avoid that because even if you do the training preemptively, you have to do it again.
I forgot about that. I did it twice, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
I don't like doing it twice.
At least the first time you don't have to do all of it. He
Yeah.
only goes through the first 3.
It's like half or something. Yeah.
So horizontal, vertical, and stab. He doesn't do jump attack or whirlwind or any of that stuff yet.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
still
it's-
kick your if you're if you mess up. It's like the old dude just like, no, I'm gonna lay this 10-year-old out.
He does do that.
He reminds me of because we just got through that game, Swiftblade, like the Swiftblades and
Oh,
Minish
yeah.
Cap.
He's
It kind of reminds me of them a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he's an ancestor of Swiftblades,
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to possess people's body to teach them sword technique. So I mean, is he really a Swiftblade?
Well, that must have gotten lost too. He remembers the part about the green clothes, how you're supposed to go find a sword, but not about how you possess 10-year-old people so you can teach them how to do like a jump
Yeah.
attack.
Forgot the cool part, bro.
I still feel like that entire game, Minish Cap, did not need to happen because Swiftblade could have just possessed Vati and destroyed him. But hey, teach their own.
plot holes happen.
Like, how is Swiftblade not the strongest person in that universe?
I mean, maybe the resource that it takes to do that is, very heavy.
He's an old man.
Yeah,
The ghost one, though, he has no excuse.
exactly.
Yeah. In
Well,
corporeal,
he doesn't-
that's no
He
excuse.
doesn't concern himself with the problems of the living anymore. He's just kind
Yeah.
of beyond that now. All right. So this Orca is our training master, kind of has similar but opposite opinions of his brother. Like, they both have respect for each other. Like, he's very much like, yeah, my brother spends all of his time in his studies, and because of that, he's really wise, but he's also kind of grown frail.
Yeah.
I believe later in the game he talks about how like he did go on adventures and his brother did the same. Like, they kind of both have that history of having ventured out to go find their path or whatever. And so they both kind of returned back to Outset and have made their dojo home here in their retirement. So it's kind of a cool backstory for them.
Their interactions are hilarious too.
Yeah.
Like, when you first go in there, he's like, "Hey, roll up against this wall for fun," and you do it. You just hear all these pots break. Bam, 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 from us. You riffraff. And then you go upstairs and you talk to Sturgeon, and all the shelves fall down and all the pots break. He's like,
There's real Yosemite
so
Sam
good.
on him.
This
He
time through, I
does.
talked to Sturgeon first, and it's always gets me when that happens because he's like right in the middle of just like introducing himself to you, and he's like, "And here are my special." All of a sudden, just all the boards just fall, and all the pots come crashing down, and it's so unexpected. It's like, what is happening? And then he just throws a fit against his brother downstairs,
It's a real good
upstairs
introduction.
neighbor with a broom. Like, it's great.
It is.
Like it lets you know everything. Like, he's like, here, I'm going to tell you about myself, but then that just lets you know everything you need to know about him.
And like, where are they storing their extra pots at though? Because throughout my little playthrough here, he lost his pots 3 different times, and every time he's got new ones. Like they got some infinite pot generating bag or something.
He's
That's
so
big
big
outside,
brain.
man.
He just knows how to make them.
The chick walking around with the pots on her head. She's just
the
always
sort-
bringing them to his house.
She's
Yeah,
just the
what's
pot
going on
delivery
there?
service. She's like, yo, like I know you need these. Carry water.
So they got some racket going on.
Sue Bell as a character confounds me. I think her only purpose in the game is to tell you that you can pick up rocks, like the same way
Yeah.
she picks up a pot.
I mean, this is the tutorial island.
Yeah, but like she's placed right outside of Grandma's house, like right in the middle of the path. I mean, maybe that was just to kind of nudge the player to actually talk to her once.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I kind of always expected her to say something more or different, and that never really happens. She's just kind of the pot lady.
Well, I will say something does happen.
Yeah.
There is something else that you can do with her.
I feel real bad.
Yeah, me too. So you remember when I said I threw a rock at Zill's head?
I remember you
So-
saying you ran around him like you can't catch me. I don't remember you saying.
No, he threw a rock.
Yeah, no,
at him.
I-
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's customary. I throw a rock
He was really bullying
at
him.
every intro of the game, and every time I
Rock's
come
the same
back to
size as
that.
his head.
Honestly,
That's rude.
Yeah, when you said that, I thought of what you're about to say next.
yeah. So you can throw a rock at her and break her pot, and then she gets very, very like sad and mad at you, and then she's
She's
like
devastated.
I
I
think
am
you can
so
just
sad.
roll into her too, and it does the same thing.
I tried that.
Okay.
I maybe I just didn't do it right, but like they have an audio clip for her like whimpering and crying. Like I'm just like, oh my god, what have I done? And I ran and I grabbed a jar and I put it next to her and I was like, use A to pick it up. Like use A to pick it up. And she just sat there like just like
do what you told me.
yeah, like I'm like, this is how you do it, right? And no, just I was a monster.
You devastated her.
I think Sturgeon has some pots you can use.
So like, I guess to your point, Cam, she makes you pay 10 rupees for that. Like if you have 10 rupees.
Oh,
What?
And yeah.
is it
And
like the second time you do it, or is it like even from the jump she makes you pay?
no, if you speak to her after, like she'll make you pay. Like if
Oh,
you keep talking to her, she'll make you pay. And yeah,
Huh.
and she asked for the jar. Like she asked for money for the jar. So Cameron, no, she does not have infinite jars.
oh,
But I mean, it's
Well,
not like
you
you're not
broke the
rich
product.
because you should have like 100 rupees at this point. I feel you're basically like Link Musk over here on Outset.
oh gosh.
So is she like Pot Blade then? Because you know how we had Flower Blade
Oh,
game.
God.
Is that Pot Blade game?
Like Ganon and Wind Waker.
Yo.
Hey man, all right, everyone just be cool.
So after we talk to the entire town, we finally make our way over to Grandma's house, aka our house, because that's.
Well, I went and
That's
bought
where
a
the
bag
family
from
lives.
Beetle, but
Oh, I did that right before. That was part of my gearing up for my venture. So I got the Beetle later. But yeah, we go see Grandma, and she's happy to see us. We get this wonderful little grandma tune in her house that just kind of sounds like home. I mean, you listen to it, you kind of imagine yourself looking out at like a garden in the sunset or something. It's just really quaint music in here. With a little bit of trumpet solo mixed in for some reason that kind of makes it sound like Grandma's got some epic stories to tell every once in a while, but otherwise,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Grandma
peaceful.
likes jazz.
Yeah, it something Orca said to me about like he referenced Grandma, and it was like I forget exactly what he said, but it was weird enough that I was like, "You guys, like."
Oh no!
So I was like, "All right, I mean, like I'm not judging, but, you guys get it where you can, but okay." So maybe Grandma is good down.
I think that's when you go to him. when you go to him to train earlier, he says, I can't give you a sword because I feel like your grandma would get mad at me and I just really don't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now."
And I was just like, wait, you guys like involved? It's cool, but you know.
She's a spitfire. You just don't see.
I mean, yeah, no, like this jazz, like I'm seeing a whole new side of grandma today.
I think there's actually more grandma lore than that. We won't get to it until we get to Windfall, but I think grandma has a history.
Right.
We'll talk about that later.
Nobody with the soup recipe like that has nothing to hide.
The
you
soup
know?
recipe.
So, grandma's got something going on.
Grandma's been around the world a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think she even says when we get here, she's like, I made your favorite soup for your birthday. Also, it's the special birthday where you get this whole outfit, right? And gives us ye old tunic of the hero of time.
And Link.
We ain't
not
ever
be-
even get our lumpski bumpski soup, you know.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Link
We don't
could
get
not
any
be
soup yet.
more devastated and more depressed than putting on that outfit. His face was the face of pure disgust.
For New Game Plus, you get an invisible set of clothes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Canonically invisible.
And the game outright says you got the hero's new clothes, like the Emperor's new clothes reference. Like it was straight up like there's nothing here, and it says only the people who are honest can see them. And I'm like, this is such a weird reference,
what?
And then the game is like, you're not honest, you can't see them.
right? Only people who are honest can see them. It's just like. It's so silly, but I love it.
I like that grandma is maybe Link's face is that way because grandma's like, hurry up, change right now in front of me while I tell you about this tradition. I'm like, fine.
Yeah. And because, it's invisible clothes, I get to play this whole game as Link in the Blue Lobster shirt, which is kind of fun. But that to me implies that instead of like changing in front of grandma, he just puts this tunic on over his other clothes, which is like gotta be the worst way to do it.
Yeah, no wonder you're hot, bro. Come on.
Is that why everyone's like, that looks uncomfortable? You should have
you're not supposed to layer a tunic like that unless you're going into the Andes. Like, what are you doing?
Link's like one of those Twitch streamers that's got a challenge where he's got to put on like 60 shirts. He just never changes his clothes. He's got every pair of clothes that he's ever worn in his life under the blue one.
He's got some weird sunk cost fallacy to clothing.
I can't take it off. I paid for this.
I always have to wear it. Look how clean it is.
I got all them rupees out of his lawn. I had to spend them on something.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, we get this wonderful outfit. I don't even know if we're told to go back to Arrow, but we're kind of let loose after this to just kind of explore.
No, we are.
She says go get Arrow.
We're told to go get her.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think she tells us why. She just says go get her.
Okay, probably so you can all have soup together. That'd be my guess. Like I made you soup, but we ain't gonna eat without Arrow. You get her over here so we can say grace.
I mean, like, it's one of those meals. You know, your sister will kill you if like we start eating stroganoff and she's not here. Like, go get your sister.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
So we head back over to Arrow's landing, Arrow's lookout. I mean,
lookout landing.
Yeah,
lookout Arrow.
Yeah, you get
Lookout
it.
Arrow.
You get it. We get up there. She has a surprise for us because it's our birthday. She's going to let us borrow her telescope
For one day.
for one day.
Mm-hmm.
For one day.
Such a great birthday present. But Arrow, probably doesn't have cash to buy us anything. Like borrowing is maybe the best she can do, which, it's thoughtful. We're definitely going to have this thing for more than one day, but we'll talk about that later.
Whoa. That's pretty dishonest.
Yeah, what an awful
why we
brother
can't
you
see
are.
the new game clothes. I mean, this is the problem right here.
That's
Telescope lets you see everything except for the clothes on your back. Oh gosh,
This happens sometimes to Link in Zelda games where people will be like, I want that back, but here you can have this. Or like the kid who's like sick in A Link to the Past is like, here, take my bug net, but like when I'm not sick anymore, I'm gonna want it back so I can catch bugs.
Okay, never get better. Bye.
It's a real Ash and Misty's bicycle situation.
Yeah.
Oh no, he done never paid her back for that bike.
Oh, goodness. All right. So we get this telescope. Immediately, she's like, try it out. Assign it to a button because, sometimes Zelda game, especially in the beginning, when you get a new item and it's like, here's the deep lore of this thing you got. And it's like, you can use it by pressing buttons. And I'm like, thanks, game. Yeah. I wasn't sure about that part.
It's like Sturgeon's entire wall. It's just... sometimes you have to do things by pressing a button to get a fairy out of a bottle.
Man, when I get my own house, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to have a room with papers on the wall, just talking about pressing buttons on a PlayStation controller, and people are going to go in there and go, this guy's insane. Just click that left stick in if you want to sprint, like it's crazy.
I just see someone like living like downtown in like a second story balcony over a very busy shopping street, and you're just like telling people to Z-target when you go into
hey, if you want to talk to me.
Up here,
crane your head back
Z.
here and hit that ZR button.
You got it on toggle motor, or you got to hold it. What do you got? Don't matter.
Keep walking.
You just
keep walking.
The guy down on the street looks up and looks down and looks up and looks down. He's like, oh no, it's not toggle. Hold it. Oh.
Oh goodness.
All right. So we use our fancy telescope to look at the mailman. I guess. I mean, I remember we kind of get to look around anywhere. I think she says originally to look at the house, but then she quickly points out that the mailman's freaking out about something.
Yeah, he's pretty close to the house.
Yeah, and so we spot the mailman, and when that happens, it breaks into this cutscene where the telescope is then self-directed up towards what the mailman's looking at, which is
no, you got to look up yourself.
Yeah,
do you really?
No, because I didn't, and she told me to do it like 4 times. I'm like,
what are you doing?
Fine.
Gotcha.
Use the control stick to look around in the sky.
What's the mailman freaking out about? You got to look up. It's like, okay.
I was too busy watching the mailman freak out because it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It looked like he was being swarmed by mosquitoes. I was like,
This is the sequence that will like break your emulator if you try and emulate this game and like don't know how to do the settings.
Oh.
It's just trying to do so many things at once and like it just crashes.
Oh, I know how to do mess settings.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah, I actually had an issue here, and I play on the Wii U. But like when I zoomed in to the Dorito, I was on the guy. Like I was my telescope was on the Dorito. I was moving in circles around him, like trying to, like the cutscene wasn't triggering. And then I have RL on the side of me, like, you just gotta look at the mailman, brother. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like looking all around.
Look at the weird bird.
And like you can't escape this. Like you can't get back to your menu or like walk around. Like you have to be in the telescope. So I'm like looking at the ocean, then looking back, then looking at the ocean, then looking back. And finally, after like 3 minutes of having my telescope on the Dorito, no, the Dorito started freaking out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was a super glitch. I don't know. I had never seen that before.
So we look up. According to Errol's instruction and the implication from the Dorito staring into the sky in terror, and we see what we will
giant evil mass bird thing.
Yeah, what we'll later know as the Helmarock King. This is like kind of like spotting Ho-Oh on your first adventure out of the house. No big deal. Except this thing's like carrying a human in its talons and is actively being chased by a pirate ship that's just launching volley after volley at it.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah, right. I mean, chasing down the Helmarock King. It's like just last Tuesday, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's every Tuesday, man.
So they managed to land a good hit. It's one of the most cartoonishly cheesy moments in this cutscene because the bird just decides to stop all regular flight physics to to really look forward at this rock.
With its mouth
midair.
wide open, like it's a Looney Tune character. Is
Right, yeah. And like kind of recoils back, and then just gets hit by it kind of somewhere in the middle of its nonsense.
I'm just looking for like a because like sound effect to play.
Oh yeah. Just turns into fried chicken just cuz.
Yeah. Drops the child.
Well, it does do that.
Sponsored by the KFC console.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's what I want a box to sog up my chicken. Or dry it out so bad that
There
it's
you go.
inedible.
You could do both.
I just want grease on my games. That's all I want.
You could do that too.
All right. So this bird does in fact drop the human that it's carrying into the woods up top. I think it's considered like the fairy woods. I don't remember the name that they give this.
Oh yeah.
Forest of
What is
Fairies.
The Forest of Fairies,
Yeah.
or just the Fairy Forest. It's one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on
I
the
mean,
wiki.
same
It
thing.
says Forest of Fairies, Fairy Forest. It's all the same.
Yeah.
You know,
When I
depends
first
on
read it,
if
I
you
heard
like-
the Fairy Fortress, and I was like, "What?" And then I read it again. I was like, "Oh, that's way less cool."
you don't want to mess with those fairies.
But Errol kind of gives you a hint right here and now. She's like someone's got to go help her, but like you probably need something to protect you. Like you can't just go up there with nothing. It's just, she basically gives you a hint you're going to need a weapon of some kind. In as child and as innocent a way that can be stated. She's like, you can't just go. You got to go get something first. You'll need a tool to help you or something like that.
There's baby trees in the way.
Yeah.
How can a child
There
get
are.
through baby trees?
So, naturally I go around talking to all the NPCs, and none of them have even caught that this happened. Like they're all
Oh.
just chilling. I tried to find the mailman. He's not even there. I'm
It's
like,
Normal Tuesday.
what are we doing? Like
I
nobody
had some
saw that.
people be like, "What's going on?"
I think one or two. I think maybe Abe
Maybe
was
Zill.
like, I think I heard something. And yeah, Zill's like, what's going on? But like Mesa's cutting grass. He does not care.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's on the
Stuff like
grind.
that. Like there's just people who are just unaware of what's happening.
I think Sue says like, "What's the mailman doing over there?" or something like that. And I'm like, did you not
He
see the giant bird and pirate ship?
He should leave. He's here to deliver the
Right.
mail.
There's still a pirate ship off the shore of the island. You can go look at it if you
Like,
want. The
you
pirates
can
are
swim to
arguing
it.
on it.
Yeah, I guess you could get your telescope out. I swam to it.
You swam to the ship?
Yeah, I touched it and then I died.
See, that's
The
what I
end
thought
of
the
the
problem
hero.
would have been. Yeah, that checks out.
And then because I read Sturgeon's Wall, I went over and I cut a piece of grass to restore some of my vitality.
Hey,
Nice.
You gotta love the people dropping their hearts.
Yeah.
All natural
Yeah.
method. Somebody drops their heart in the grass, and then you can extract it through lawn mowing.
And they just get up and walk away like, oh, dang it, I lost my heart again. Oh, well.
This is the circle of life, after all.
Out of context, this is entirely mad person speak. I just want to point that out to any listeners. Yeah. So eventually we come to the conclusion that Orca, the blade master, is probably going to be the person who has a blade that we can use, especially if you've trained with him before and he straight up told you, yeah, I have one. I just don't think I should give it to you. Yeah. But you go and you get your obligatory training in the way of the sword. And you can't pre-do this step. Even if you trained before, he doesn't trust that and he trains you again. But this time he lends you the sword, and so you get the hero's blade. That if I don't remember the lore exactly, but if I'm paraphrasing, it basically says that it's imbued with the desire to like adventure and grow in strength or something like that.
I'm pretty sure it says the sword like has feelings. Like, oh, it's
So you keep feet away from me.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, like it it desires adventure. Like it like yearns for these things. I was like kind of creeped out by his description of this sword that seems to be alive.
So I'm on the wiki right now because I was trying to find out what it said, if it said anything. It doesn't have that, but it says its uses. It's just says harming enemies, cutting grass, breaking pots, and more.
Saturday
And more.
Saturday
There you
night.
go.
Oh, it's like an infomercial.
Look,
You ever want to harm your enemies?
So look, we only have like
$19.99.
we only have 5 of these left back here. Okay, you're really gonna want to get on this sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sword is special. It's not the most special, but it's special enough where it kind of hints at what our adventure might look like. And so we can go venture up into the fairy forest. We cut through these little trees. We make our way across the broken bridge that's totally out of order until repairs are completed. It's missing a singular plank.
Right in the middle.
We've been trying to harass the mayor forever to get that happen.
Who's the mayor, do you think?
I don't know. I think we killed him because he wouldn't do the bridge.
That might be the problem.
Threw him off the bridge.
Oh no.
We sent a crew up to fix it, and we haven't heard from them since.
You could just look up and see them. Yeah, we didn't do that though.
I think they went home. I hope they went home.
So we crossed this treacherous bridge, entirely impossible except for us and our incredible skill at jumping across one little gap. It kind of looks like one of the bridges into Dongo's cavern because of the hole.
Yeah.
But
the eyeball.
that's pretty obscure for this early in the game, so I wouldn't think too much about it. But anyway, we can get into this wooded area where we get some very minor combat challenges. Fight a couple of moblins.
This is the strongest enemies in the game.
Or not even moblins, sorry, bokoblins.
They're the strongest in the game, man. What are you talking about?
These ones don't even have weapons.
Not just any bokoblin, it's the blue bokoblin, man. It's the strongest.
They do a spin kick if you let them, I think.
Whoa.
That's about all they do.
I actually did not know.
They'll like jump at you. They throw hands because they don't have any weapons.
Yeah, they're coming at you with their claws out. Yeah, we're still firmly in the toots. You know, like this is them teaching us how to play.
So we take out the singular guard to get to the area where the person is hanging from a tree. And then when we get over there, a couple of rocks come flying in and drop a couple of other bokoblins in, a pair to fight two at once.
Whoa.
And
damn birds.
Yeah, once we defeat these two bokoblins, now we're in business. We get a cutscene where our friend, the pirate captain, ? This is Tetra. I guess he shouldn't even just mess around. She wakes up hanging from a tree, wiggles around a bunch in distress. The tree just straight up breaks in a 90-degree angle in a way that it would had to have clipped through her to do.
And then her fall consists of her slowly moving up a little bit first and then falling. Like the branch broke going straight down and it somehow gave her some upward momentum before she fell.
Yeah. The animation in this game is choice.
It's a cartoon.
Basically the best.
I mean, I think even Miyamoto was like we wanted to feel like you're playing a cartoon. And so there's some like cartoon physics from time to time, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So she comes crashing down, sees us with our fancy new outfit, criticizes it because what else are you gonna do? And before we even have a real conversation, Gonzo shows up, which is one of her pirate lackeys.
Oh, come on, give him some respect. He's the first mate.
He's like one of my favorites. Gonzo's pretty cool. But yeah, he comes looking for Tetra like shortly after we've already found her.
Mm-hmm.
and the two of them kind of decide to start bouncing. I can't remember if there was a third character here.
Not yet.
No. Gotcha.
They're both just like, all right, cool, let's get out of here. Well, I guess she's like, let's get out of here, and Gonzo's like, what about this kid?
He's like, just leave him.
What about him?
He'll be fine. And so they head outside. We head outside. As we head outside, we see that Errol has made her way up to meet us on our way back, which to me, I'm a little bit frustrated because I'm like, Errol, I told you to stay down by the trees. Like, you should not have come up this far. What are you doing? Like, you know, this bridge is closed.
Come on. You didn't have the sword. I have the sword.
Yeah.
I had to be a plot device, brother.
It's like, I've come to ascend into MacGuffinhood.
This is my time.
So Errol comes across the broken bridge in a way that, you know, I've never seen her jump across anything, but I guess she's going to try. But before she gets to that, the big old bird that originally had Tetra swoops in and grabs our sister Errol, flying off into the distance. And so Link, being the rational and reasonable hero that he is, decides to just run straight at the bird off a cliff.
Straight off a cliff.
It's like, what's the most direct route to Errol? It's clearly this straight line that I've imagined.
The Tetra catches him.
Yeah,
and he has a great yell line when he's hanging there. If you he'll keep doing it if you leave it on the scene. He's like, "Ah, ah, ah." He's just so angry at the bird. I had to listen to it a couple times.
I didn't know that. It was funny.
There's some really good like audio clips in this game. Like just little tiny voice clips.
Yeah, speaking of audio clips though, I mean, we'll get to how this whole thing resolves, but a couple of song notes that I wanted to mention about this part of the game. When you first start on Outlook Island, the actual music across the island kind of borrows. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. It uses phrases from what is known as Errol's theme. So Errol has her own song in this game. And you wouldn't recognize it right away because you think it's just the island overworld like soundtrack.
Right.
But when she gets captured, all of the phrases from her song are taken out of the Outlook Island song. And they are replaced with the Kokiri Forest song. They just did like a remix of Kokiri Forest and replaced Errol's theme with that.
Okay.
It's super subtle, and it's like I've never noticed it. I was like researching the island today, and it was in the trivia, and I was like, "There's no way." So I went back to I streamed it. So I went back to my stream to check, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like they did do that. Like it's a whole different song. Like it's not a whole different song. Like all of the background, like all of the instrumentation accompanying, it's all the same. Like there is a consistent Outlook Island theme, but a lot of the flourishing is entirely replaced from Errol's theme to the Kokiri Forest from Ocarina of Time. If you know, Zelda fans will already know that, but just figured I would.
That's cool. There's a lot of there's so much Easter eggs in the music that no one picks up on, or a lot of people don't realize, and you know, it takes like 10 years for someone to be like, hey, I figured out that this song is just like this thing from an earlier game backwards and reworked, and like there's so many, like that's probably just happening all the time and none of us know it because no one is like a crazy music theory nerd,
right?
Like in that way.
I've heard before, like people mention like, oh yeah, Outside Island, like it gives me Kokiri Forest vibes, and like I remember listening back to it and being like, this doesn't sound like Kokiri, like, because I was listening to the Arrow's theme version, not realizing that there was literally a Kokiri Forest version. But like, I remember having those vibes of like, why does it sound so similar? Like, why does it invoke that? And it's like they're using similar progressions, they're using whatever, and then so that it's interchangeable, they can just kind of throw either phrase in there and it works. It's really cool detail, because the whole idea is like Errol's theme is there because Errol is there. When she's gone, the island doesn't have her theme anymore, to kind of just even like just emphasize her absence. It's
the loss of her.
Yeah. So that's
Koji is a master puzzle wizard magician with music, and taking him not being in the new games, even though they've had a few choice soundtracks where they've pulled actually from these games, I think was a mistake personally, because I feel like he was just like a wizard in music theory, and like the things he's done in the games up to what he played up or what he made is just too good.
I mean, I think at this point he is in a supervisory role. I think the last, if I'm not mistaken, Ocarina was like his last, like, I am the lead on this game soundtrack, and then he like, even for this game is like not leading, like he's not composing like this. He's sort of like the head writer. Like I am supervising what you're doing for the most part, but unless I'm mistaken, I thought that was like kind of when he rose, because I remember always being like that, like thinking that too, is like why wouldn't you just let him just keep doing what he's doing? Like Motoi Sakuraba at Camelot is still just like, that's our only guy, and he just makes all our music. Like just let him do that.
Yeah.
The last thing I had heard about this was that he is listed under like the music, like conductors, but he's like the third out of 4 people listed. So like he's certainly not the only person who worked on music, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was because he was more of in a supervisory role, but I don't know all that detail. I just know that there were multiple composers involved with this game. And he was one of them for sure. But
the only one that I know for a fact that he composed was Dragon Roost Island.
Okay.
But I don't know about anything else.
So the most banger of all bangers in the friggin' game.
That's the track.
If you just Google Wind Waker composers, there's Koji Kondo, there's Kenta Nagata, Hajime Wakai, and Toru Minagishi. I don't know if I pronounced any of those good.
Looks about right.
Those are the dudes who made this game.
The 4 bosses.
Sonically incredible. Okay, so there was one other song that I wanted to shout out, and that was just the theme inside of Orca and Sturgeon's house. Because it's a call and response tune. When you listen to it, there's like 2 instruments that are in conversation with each other the whole time, and one of them leads for like the first few phrases, and then they swap, and the other one leads for the next few phrases. So I thought that was cool. I'm gonna try to cut in some music in this. Like, we're not gonna listen to it as we go through the season, but whenever we're talking about music, I'll try to include some actual examples in the background of what we're saying.
Man, you're making me want to go back and listen to these right now, because I played the game on silent because of my baby.
Oh yeah. I have the Nintendo Music app on my phone. So I've been kind of loving life with that.
Okay.
But you need Nintendo Online to have it. So if you've canceled your subscription to, Nintendo Online, then you don't have access to it. But to me,
family plan,
it's $3.99. So I think I still have it on subscription, even though I forget about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, get that music app. It's choice.
It's pretty cool.
And they added Wind Waker like just 2 or 3 months ago, so it was perfect timing for us for that.
Yeah, just like Be like, okay, I want this to loop for 30 minutes now. Like, okay,
Right.
cool.
The extended playback songs are the best. Sometimes I just jam out to like 5 a.m. Animal Crossing music.
There you go. Yeah. Set that for your day and keep going.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, we're saved from the cliffside from Tetra. We kind of get a smash cut down to the beach, where Link is trying to ask to join the pirates and go with them to pursue the bird. And Tetra thinks he's crazy, but then the mailman cuts in. This is Quill.
Yeah.
He's a mailman that will be a reoccurring character in our game. But in this moment, he kind of stands up for Link and basically says, "Hey, this bird wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. They were like, it was really after you and mistook Errol for you. So it's kind of your fault. The least you can do is help him out in trying to rescue her." Like,
look, dude.
He basically puts her in her place. She's like, so I brought a giant bird here that ended up kidnapping you. So that's not my fault. And the mailman's like, whoa. What?
it's like, first of all,
Hold on a sec.
read the news.
Look, you can trust me. I'm a mailman.
Yeah. It's like there have been reports of this giant bird kidnapping girls with long ears all over the world. And if you're out of touch with that, just trust me. I'm a mailman. I know what I'm talking about. Also, the bird thought that was you. So it's like directly, personally your fault.
Yeah, like he mentions that all of these victims have looked the same, color hair, features, long ears, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought the hair would have been a bigger thing, like, because this bird is pretty far away when he locks in on her. So I'm like, I would think that the hair color would be the thing he's seeing, not so much like eagle-eyeing her ears from 3 miles away.
Yeah, but birds,
but you know, it's
be having vision like that.
Excessive exposition, sure.
Yeah.
I also Nico is here.
Yeah.
My boyfriend.
Nico's one of my favorite characters. Nico's your boyfriend?
I don't know, like when we got to Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, I was just like, oh man, I'm so excited, all the pirates are here. And then I was like, oh wait, I guess I'm only really excited to see Nico. Like, yeah, apparently I think Nico's the best. I don't know why.
Yeah, who is it? Is it Nico? Who's the I guess it would be him, yeah.
The lowest of the low.
Yeah, for some reason I remember another pirate with glasses, but I don't know why.
Yeah, he's like running the books or the navigator or something like that. But yeah, there's a guy above deck that has glasses at some point. But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, Nico, I'm a big fan of Nico as well. I love that he kind of, whenever I'm streaming, I kind of have him talking kind of a New York accent a little bit, but he's also kind of a sweet, nasally guy. So he just has a rat whole face, vibe, right? Like, yeah, he's legit. Whenever somebody follows the channel when I'm streaming, his face, like I made a custom pixel art of him that comes up and just says Swabby because it's the new follower. I'm a Nico fan as well.
Mine is Coach Z going, I am into this.
All right. So
non sequitur.
So before we move on, I just wanted to share with you guys the descriptions for these two guys in the official book. And
about Gonzo and Nico.
Yeah, and it just shares like a little like 2-line description of them, like their favorite things and their personalities, and it's just kind of funny of like what Nico and Gonzo's are. So Gonzo, it says his personality is short-tempered, and it says his favorite thing is Tetra, which is like, okay, kind of weird.
Chill, bro.
It's this leader of Tetra's family of pirates. Gonzo seems to be quite strong, but he cries at the drop of a hat. And then we have Nico.
He's got that kind of like Looney Tunes character vibe when he was running
Oh.
up, like, "Oh, are you okay?"
He's just soft at heart, you know.
So these are like
Yeah.
the figurines that you're quoting, is what I'm seeing.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's.
And then
Nico's.
his personality is Mary, and then his least favorite thing is Gonzo's underwear. Just like what?
Yeah,
It's written for children.
he mentions. Oh, excuse me. He mentions that, like, oh, cool. Now, like, I won't be on the lowest rung of the ladder, so I won't have to wash everyone's underwear.
Okay. So his
Makes
just the
sense.
stinkiest underwear then.
Yeah, it must be.
Got them skid marks.
Oh no.
We don't know. We don't want to know what Gonzo be getting into.
No. It's too much. He's all that protein and working out, you know.
It must be, yeah.
Then it says he's quite childish, rarely thinks of the consequences of his actions. Even so, he shows signs of having what it takes to move up the pirate ladder.
Yeah, if there's anyone who ever bought into capitalism, hook, line, and sinker, it's Nico. And just like I'm gonna work my way up. I'm just putting in my dues.
Get a good office job and sit down.
Yep.
I've only been an intern for 5 years.
Yeah, they're gonna pluck me out of here soon. I'm gonna get hired. I won't be a contractor anymore.
Nico's the working man.
Poor Nico, I love him.
So yeah, so Nico is right. He calls it the swabby position.
Yeah, we're gonna be helping him like do drop shipping or something.
I just realized that Tetra's pirate crew. If you look up an actual picture of the whole crew together, there's 3 big guys and 3 little guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be a theme, if they're supposed to be matching of any kind. Like if there's supposed to be some kind of like symbolism there. I have no idea. But it's just
It makes for a very striking group photo.
It does, yeah. Having the 6 backup people and then Tetra there as the 7th.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something about that. I have to research that a little bit more, but we'll have plenty of time to talk about that on our next episode, which will be probably pirate centric. So
Yeah.
So let's just put a bookmark in that, I guess. But yeah, so in order to join the crew, Tetra demands that we have a shield of some kind, some way to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
She kind of insists that this island must have something that could be considered a shield.
Because we're going to die very fast, obviously.
Right, yeah. So we kind of, if we remember our wonderful talk with Grandma earlier, one of the things that she mentions, aside from being of age and getting your green suit, is that the family has held on to the shield with the crest on it. And so it kind of shows it up on the wall with a couple of wooden swords kind of posted up. It's a decoration at this point, but it's the only shield we know about. So we can venture back and go look for this shield.
But it's gone.
It's missing.
I mean, you could talk to her first when you walk in. She's standing next to the ladder to your like loft, and she's like, "What's going on?"
She's like, "What's going
very
on?"
distraught. She wants to know about.
Is Errol okay?
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is more than most of the characters on the island. This is one of the times where I ran around, talked to everybody again, and most people's responses were just, "Is everything okay? You look worried." And then going back to whatever business they were already doing.
No one saw the giant bird up on the bridge?
No one saw the bird. No one's questioning the pirates being right there on the beach.
Yeah, okay, I didn't get anything about pirates. You're right about that.
Everyone's just like, "Is everything okay? You look like you're upset." Oh, anyway, like, do you want to practice sword fighting? Or anyway, like, it's crazy what you can find in the grass. Like, nobody cares.
It's Tuesday. Pirates sometimes show up, whatever.
Errol's gone. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The Tuesday Pirate Hour, of course. Of course. I hear those every Tuesday.
Oof.
That's tomorrow.
So I just found a super theory. It's actually not a theory, it's legit.
A super theory?
Oh.
So if I'm going to wait on it based on what you want me to do, but you were mentioning the 6 pirates, and like I wonder if they're like a reference to anything or if they mean anything with being the 3 big ones and the 3 little ones on the bottom. So I
Yeah.
actually found out direct correlation to something later in the game. Do you want me to hold that?
I get, yeah, if we're going to come across it later, we can always talk about it later.
Okay. It's pretty legit.
Sometimes I just have questions and I state them, and I don't know. I mean, that's
But
the
it got me
nature of
thinking.
being a
It was
lorester, right?
rhetorical.
I mean, you got to first see something weird and say, does that mean something? And then go digging, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's a little. I think we'd be jumping the gun if we dove into pirates right now,
Yeah.
because we still got to get that shield. We go
So
up
look,
there.
you're making your grandma sad, right? And then you climb the ladder and you don't find a shield. And we've all been there.
We didn't find no soup neither.
No.
Sad grandmas, no shield, no soup, no little sister.
Oh, it's the worst.
Just
Got a
everything's
sword for some reason.
just rolling ones over here.
Oh no.
Is Errol okay? Also, why do you have a sword? Listen, it's not.
Yeah,
what you
that's
think.
right.
Okay. After the shield's missing,
What's that on your back? Orca's not getting any for a month.
guy. I don't know that I can keep these jokes in here.
All right, sorry.
So, shield's gone. We come running back out. Either you can climb down the ladder, or if you're a real one, you can just backflip down. Because you kind of see that grandma's looking the other way anyway. And we get this cutscene, which, I mean, really represents the kind of knowing that grandparents are known to have, right? Grandma kind of already can figure out what's going on based on us looking for the shield.
That's why she took the shield before
took it
we even
down.
showed up.
Right. Like, she's like, my boy's gonna go on his green shirt adventure. just like the old times. He's got to go save Arrow. I don't know. She seems like she doesn't know what's going on until she does. And she's like, actually, I saw the whole thing. Like, I'm the only NPC who did.
Even though I've been inside my house the whole time.
Right.
I have grandma senses. I know when to step outside.
And so grandma's very sad, but at the same time, she understands what we need to do.
Mm.
And I guess wishes us the best on what we're about to adventure for.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. It's definitely a sad scene. And to be real, like, just based on having played through the game before, we're not going to see Grandma again for a while. So, kind of a big deal. This is also, I mean, for me, this was, I'm going to figure out what else I need for this trip. I just bought a ton of stuff from Beetle.
I stocked up.
Yeah, I filled a bait bag just full of stuff. Spent all my rupees doing that. And then went back to the pirates to let them know I was ready to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do we want to talk about the actual launching?
Not before. She mocks our shield, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but
She says, what is this decrepit? You're going to get a sliver just holding it. All right, fine. Get on board.
Yeah, Tetra is like a kind of a bully to Link at this point in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she did watch you try and save your sister by running off a cliff towards a bird.
That's fair.
But her
I
first
mean,
words to us were, "What's with the get up?"
Why are you wearing that?
Immediately,
crap?
some nerd came to save me. Like, what is this?
Doesn't someone tell Link that the shield like is rumored to have been the hero's shield? How is that thing still like functional?
Oh no, it's been in the family
Probably
for
not.
generations.
It's got to get enamel over it.
The dust is so caked down there, it adds an extra layer of defense.
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point in this game we'll find a new shield and replace it without a second thought.
No.
What?
Sorry, Grandma.
What?
You ain't even gonna get it back on your wall, Grandma.
Put it in our pocket and never think about it again.
I'm chucking it off the cliff.
Yeah, we get this voyaging soundtrack when we finally get off the island. It's pretty epic. It's very fanfare, but at the same time, they include this bittersweet moment of Link waving and his seeing his grandma out on the balcony who can't even like look over the rail because she's too short. It was really weird. Like I remembered it differently, to be honest. I was like, oh yeah, like this is where he and his grandma wave to each other, and she doesn't.
Yeah,
She's straight up like her face is covered by the railing, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
he's just waving at nothing.
Yeah, only he waves like to her. I don't know. It's still like
eat my soup.
It is.
Takes my shield and runs off with a bunch of pirates on his birthday. You darn grandson.
And after not even like 3 waves of his arms, Tetra's like, hey, you done?
Should we turn around? Should we go back?
Like, you want to give up already? Like, can we chill with the waving? Like, why are we still on this? Just mad rude. But
if any of you guys got a bottle, we could go back and get some soup. But I'm good.
But after this little interaction, I think she gives us some direction on who to find and talk to. Basically, says make yourself useful, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I saved and quit. So
Same.
Like, go do work. No.
Honestly,
There's 2 people.
Oh, sorry. What's up?
There's 2 people on the top of the boat. There's her, and then there's like one person down the ladder, and she says, "You're gonna get in the way up here." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. There's so much going on. You're sitting here, and he's standing down there. Yeah, I'm in the way. My
Look,
B."
do you have a hard hat? Okay. This is a union site.
Oh, I'm not OSHA approved. My
Yeah,
bad.
get below deck.
And I don't remember what NPC it was, but there was one of the pirates. I don't know if it was the guy who is standing in front of Tetra's room guarding that we can talk about next episode, or if it was Nico or who was it, but somebody does the Zoro and Sanji like, oi, oi, oi. And I was so happy when I heard that. I don't remember what pirate it was, but I was so happy. I was like, oh yes, music to my ears.
The pirates are very piratey.
Yeah.
They did a very good job with them. But yeah, so this is where we're going to kind of cut our episode, I think, or at least, stop our gameplay discussion. I will say that this is one of the stronger intros of a Zelda title. I can't say that the next few sections are everybody's favorites, and so next episode we might be singing a different tune. But as far as the setup for the story, this island always brings me a nostalgic feeling. I love spending time on Outset, even though there's not much to do. Just to be there in the music and the sunlight, it's like this is great. Like it gives me the vibes are immaculate, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I really enjoyed this part of the game. We've pretty much covered everything that I took of note. But if there's anything else you guys want to share, now's the time before we wrap this one up.
I'm gonna take a VR vacation on Outset Island.
Nice.
VR?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that headset on.
Yeah. So I can just lay back in my bed and pretend like I'm on Outset Island on the beach, tanning. Yeah.
Let's say there's a reason Lurelin Village is my favorite place in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not even like something I realized at first. Eventually you realize like, oh, this is the layout is just it's Outset Island's layout. But Yeah, they both have this vibe that I can dig it.
That whole coastline was just like where I spent a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it down there.
Yeah. I love how the crabs run away.
I'm gonna get you, turn you into defense soup.
Gonna catch me a crabby.
Cool. Well, I'll wrap this one up then. All right, cool. So thank you all for listening to our episode of A for No, B for Yes. This was our Outset Island episode. Next episode, we will be covering the pirate ship and our first visit to the Forsaken Fortress. So we will catch you then on A for No, B for Yes.
Metal Gear Solid.
Use a VPN.
Press A to save the world.
Did you get all that?